Everything seems to be working at least, so let's
Okay.
do it. Episode 5. Leonard Show and I are going to talk about Preacher.
Preacher and the ghastly abomination currently masquerading as Preacher on AMC.
I'm going to somewhat disagree.
You may somewhat disagree. Oh my God, it's like one of those forms I fill out at work now. I agree, disagree, slightly disagree, somewhat disagree.
I'm giving it, so if it's a number one, one is completely disagree on. Okay, it's like you have the comic book, which is probably my favorite comic book of all time, or very close to it.
It's a strong choice.
When I go with the TV show, based off
Hmm.
of what I know or remember, because I have not read the comic in a while, how close do I think it was? How much do I like it? On a scale of 1 to 10, or 1 to 5, 5-star rating, 10-star rating, fucking whatever.
I go 5 stars, five
I'm
stars.
I'm I'm 75, 80% there.
So you're like a 3.5, 4 star kind of
Yeah,
guy for the pilot.
believe it or
Okay,
not. Yeah.
okay.
Well, let's discuss now.
Let's see for the
It's like
pilot.
let's. Is it going to be easier to talk about what we like or what we don't like, or is it going to be kind of a mixture?
Well, it won't take me long to talk about what I like. Nice.
I saw this shine. What are you wearing?
Red 5 standing
Nice,
by.
fucking rebel scum bastard.
Yeah.
Um, I saw The Shining at a theater down the street. They like play once a month. They get like an old school movie and play it. And they did the fucking Shining. They've done Jaws. Jaws on the big screen. I'd never seen Jaws on the big screen. Shining. I'd never seen on the big screen. The Thing. A totally different
I've never seen
experience.
the thing on the big screen.
Oh God. Oh.
All small screen for me. I'm going to be, and I'm nursing a sore throat, so I'm going to be drinking more than
So you
usual.
said I was hoping
So,
I was going to get raspy voiced Leonard Show.
well, you might before the hour is out because
Yes.
this is my last Luden's cough drop.
Oh, it's
I,
Ludens. I thought it said Odin's.
no, that would be fitting for what we're going to discuss. But no, this is my last Luden's. I have to hide them from my children because the second they see one, oh, Daddy, I have a sore throat. You don't have a sore throat. Shut up. Get
Yeah.
out of here. Go to your room.
You don't sound
I'm
like
an,
Froggy from the Little Rascals.
I'm an awesome parent. Shut up. Go to your room.
So Preacher, let's do it. Let's
Yeah, sure.
God, I don't know where to begin. I don't.
Well, let's begin at the beginning
Let's right when it
because
starts off. I didn't know it was the TV show.
you had the like kind of cheesy outer space, and we see Genesis coming from outer space, and you know what I've noticed. What seems to be the thing because there's
Your
uh,
video totally took a shit. It froze and it came back all pixelated.
on mine it went dark and then it came back. You just zoomed a little. I don't know. We're doing shit,
Okay,
but
hopefully this turns out.
there seems to be like because there's you and your friend Joe out there. You guys are both on board.
Well,
Uh,
Joe's in Sacramento.
oh, okay.
I haven't spoken to him about how he is the spitting image of Cassidy. He looks exactly like Cassidy.
Well, and just for reference, that far west of me, you guys are all out there together. But you guys have loved Preacher for a long time. Me, I just read through Preacher probably a couple of years ago. It's funny because I still have the receipt from when I bought volume one from Borders.
Wow.
Little time frame. I bought it from Borders like 10 years ago. And I don't know what happened. It just never got read. And then so I read the first two and I was at C2E2, the big convention here in Chicago, which I absolutely love. I don't do the Rosemont one anymore. I don't do the Wizard World Chicago anymore. I'm a C2E2 guy.
That's where you used to go. When I came up there, we went there in 1990.
Yeah, yeah.
You and I, that was the one where I bought that. Let me see
The
if I can
print,
see it.
the the
Yeah, the
the
Wolverine,
Wolverine. Yeah,
which is yeah
right
right
there.
up there.
That's it.
And I don't have the Punisher part yet. Yet. It was a die pack. For those of you listening, there was a die pack. It was Jim Lee did it. It was called A Bad Night for the Ninjas. Wolverine on one, Punisher on the other. I bought the Wolverine one. I was 17, I think. And Leonard Show standing next to me. He goes, "You know, you're going to be kicking yourself that." And I just zoomed in again. You're going to be kicking yourself that you don't have the Punisher side. And I'm like, whatever. It's Wolverine. Fuck the Punisher. Who cares? 30 years later, God, ugh. Almost 30 years later, and I'm going, fuck, I wish I had the fucking Punisher. So, and that
We've
was,
all done it.
yeah, I
We've all
went
been there.
there in 1990. We went there. I don't know if I was there in 96, but I took the ex fiance there in 98. Yeah, right out there by the airport, if I recall.
Yep.
And
That
you don't
place
do it.
actually collapsed a few times during construction because of the noise from the air travel around there. Like when it was in the early stages of construction, shit kept getting knocked down. But yeah, I loved it, and I love that. But then I don't know what happened. I was there. Oh God, probably the last time I was there, like 5 years ago now. I remember I'm walking around and I'm like, "Where's the Marvel booth? Where's the DC booth?" So I find one of the people. I'm like, "Am I missing the Marvel booth?" And the guy's like, "No, they didn't set up here." Wizard World did like piss them off somehow with something. I don't know if they've been back yet,
Wizard
but
World's like, I was talking to somebody at the con, and they were like, yeah, they're kind of sort of taking a shit.
yeah, they piss a lot of people off. But and Marvel and DC have both embraced C2E2 in a big way because C2E2 is managed by Reed Pop, and they're trying to get it. They're trying to
It's
make
managed
it
by who?
Reed Pop
What's
are
Reed Pop?
the convention organizers.
Oh,
It's like the company that doesn't. I don't know, but they're trying to build it up to be like a San Diego Comic Con for the Midwest, like big
awesome.
multimedia, and it's at McCormick Place, which
Dude.
you've been to the auto show there.
Fucking eggs baked. I've been in like 100 of them.
Oh my God,
It's
Ken,
got to be huge.
the first C2E2, like because the attendance was pretty low the first year. It was like 40,000, maybe a little less. So I'm walking down those big aisles at C2E2,
That
my
had to be
arms fully
beautiful.
outstretched. I'm walking, didn't smell a single fanboy that year. It's still rare that I like catch a whiff of somebody because you've got some room to move around. Don't get me wrong, Saturday it's a madhouse. I mean, they're full.
Saturday's always the worst day at a con.
Although, and that's one of the fortunate byproducts of the hot cosplay chicks taking more prominence lately is yeah, the
You
geeks.
mean the attention whores? Yeah, ladies called you out.
I
Sorry.
I mean the cosplay artists. That's who I'm talking about.
Oh,
I'm
there
talking
you go.
about these women who love their art, yeah, the attention whores. That's who I'm talking about.
People
But
always fucking ask me, like, are you going to a con? Are you going to dress up? I'm like, I've been going to cons since the fucking 90s. Dressing up wasn't a thing. Seeing a girl at a con was fucking forget about it.
that's the kind of story your friends are like, "Fuck you, you didn't see a girl," and then wait, a hot no, not only a girl, a hot girl. Fuck you.
That's why I brought Linda, 98. I bring her with, and she's 5'10", 100 pounds, if 110 pounds, whatever. And every fucking artist and writer there is just like, we walked out because we had to make multiple trips to the car. And one time she just had a bag full of shit, and I'm like, oh, what all did we get? She goes, fuck you, what all did I get? This is mine. And it was
Yeah.
because we used to go to cons because all you had were your local comic book shops. And if there was shit you were looking for and they didn't have it, you were SOL. Fucking forget about it. A con came to town, then you could find issues like 4, 5, and 6 of Slash Maraud. You could
Oh, Slash
fucking
Maraud.
Stash Maradovich.
Fucking purple snow in the summertime.
Fucking great book. You could find those goofy issues of those goofy comics that you read. That
Now I'm going to be
nobody-
looking for fucking Slash Maraud at the next con I go to.
I wanted to this weekend. I just fucking didn't. Well, first off, finding a booth that actually sells comic books is one thing, and then second off, I had a bunch of shit going on. So yeah, now we
Great
have the
to see
internet.
it.
And you can get whatever you want. There it goes.
I'm taking the red pill.
Great. There's a great book. It's about the philosophy of the Matrix, and it's called Taking the Red Pill.
Nice.
And there's another one actually that's called The Philosophy of the Matrix. Yes, I own them both. Yes, I am a nerd.
Hey, that's cool. I want them. I want to get them.
So anyway,
I don't know
so
if I can
you,
talk effectively with this in my mouth. We'll see how this
but
goes.
you'll be all right. So anyway, so you told fucking Rosemont Horizon, fucking, or not Rosemont Horizon, but right out there by the airport, fucking Wizard
Right.
World shit. Everybody fucking bailed. You're like, fuck this. C2E2 taken off at fucking McCormick Place, which it was in
and I'm
Batman.
married. I'm married. I got 2 kids. I'm a boy on a budget. So 2 cons in a year is a commitment. And the Chicago Comic Con in Rosemont, it's usually in August. So it's hit or miss whether or not I'm in town because that's when we take our big family vacation in Wisconsin.
Right.
So You know, I might go again. I'm not ruling it out. But I mean, and that's the other thing. It's not just me anymore because I've gotten the wife into this shit. I'm raising two geek girls and
Yeah.
two beautiful geek girls. So some little bastard, 10 or 15 years from now, is just going to be happy as fuck about the cool ass girlfriend he's got. And you know what? Thanks to who? You little shit.
Right. Right, there you are, winning.
Respect.
Your video's shit. Kill the cam and start it back up again.
Okay.
Which sucks. I hate this. And it's not anybody's fault. It's just it is what it is.
I am now the ghostly disembodied voice of Lencho.
There's a picture of a red 79 Stingray. Hey, you're back. You look good. As always. So yeah, so you go to this fucking thing now. Which Batman movie was it where clearly they filmed it inside of McCormick Place? You had all the pillars.
Batman Begins when they're testing out the tumbler.
Okay, there it is. That is McCormick Place. That's the fucking size of it, and that is. I mean, we're talking the entire fucking floor. It's multiple
The
levels.
first C2E2, you're in line. I don't know if it was the exact location where they were filming that, but you're in one of the structures with the big pillars, and they had Dark Knight playing on a big screen TV.
Motherfucker.
Because I think like I thought the doors opened at 10 on Friday, and I think a lot of people did because there's like several hundred people in line, and the show floor didn't open until noon. So, but they were ready for it. They had Dark Knight on a big screen TV, so how can you go wrong?
Well, we got to the con this year, and normally being media, I can just walk right the fuck in, and they had people not at the doors, but like at the top of the elevators to stop people from going down. And I was like, "Yeah, media, I need to get down there." And they're like, "Yeah, no, you get in with everybody else." I was like, "What?"
Ouch.
The last few years that didn't happen, but last year we were walking in, and we were like media, and the guard. We were walking by the guard. We hear this snide little fucking bastard go, "Oh, I gotta fucking get a handle on this shit," and it's like, "You my dick, pal." So I'm like, "Fuck it." You know what we do next year? Just become a fucking vendor. I'll get a fucking
Man, I
table.
remember this year at C2E2, Snyder and Capullo were there. They worked on Batman in the New 52. Have you read any of that?
Snyder. You mean Zack Snyder?
No, Scott Snyder.
Oh God, I was like,
Good
Were
Snyder.
you okay?
No, Scott Snyder is fucking brilliant.
Capullo's awesome.
Capullo is awesome, of course. Their run on Batman is just fucking legendary.
Oh, Capullo drawing Batman. Fuck.
Snyder writing Batman is a fucking beautiful thing. He just gets it. I mean, don't trust me, folks. We'll talk about Preacher eventually.
This is how it always is. We come in with an agenda, and then we kind of
Fuck the script.
fuck it, whatever. We'll just wing it. It's like Iron Man when they were filming that. They didn't really have a script. They were kind of like, this kind of sort of needs to happen, so we'll just figure it out as we go along.
Well, it's like how they ended Casablanca. Did you know they didn't have an ending to the script?
Really? No, I didn't know. That's one of my favorite.
They didn't know
movies.
how it was going to end. And they're like, okay, well, what do you want to see happen? You want to see that guy die. Who do you want to kill him? You want Rick to kill him. All right, let's do that. And then it might have been improv when the inspector goes, round up the usual suspects. And this start of a beautiful friendship, and that's how they ended.
That's because then the whole thing. I look at that movie, and that is a movie of ultimate love. That is the ultimate fucking love movie because he loves that girl so fucking bad, and it's like, you know what? If you're happier being with somebody else, all I care about is that you are happy, and it's gonna fucking fuck me up and tear me apart, and I'm gonna have to go through just hell. But as long as you're happy, that's all I care about. Now get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Tear. But anyway,
Oh,
Scott
God.
Snyder.
Okay.
Scott Snyder writing Batman. Because Scott Snyder gets Bruce. He knows how to get at Bruce. He knows how to torment him. He knows how to push his buttons. He knows how to push him to the absolute brink. But Scott Snyder never ever forgets that Bruce is the Batman. And he's going to win, and he's going to fuck your shit up, and you're going to regret messing with him in the first place. It's fucking beautiful. Because the Court of Owls storyline is absolutely... Just get Volume 1 and Volume 2. It's the two parts of the Court of Owls.
Taking notes.
Good. Do that. And when you get to the end of Court of Owls Volume 2, and you find that you need Volume 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, you're welcome.
What I can't do two things at once. If I'm writing, I can't talk. I'm very yeah. It's like that. Or like here's
Which
the one
I
you in
just
the
switched.
here's the one you invented. Yeah, can you do this? Can you do
You do the
this?
dyslexic Vulcan.
And then can you do this? You were the one who taught me this, and you still can fucking do it
Talk,
way
talk,
faster than
talk,
I can.
talk, talk. See,
For those of you listening, I gave him the
a,
finger.
a lot of guys go for the butterfly.
Hmm.
I use the dyslexic Vulcan.
It's really strange when you go up to a girl or you do something like that, and she looks at you and goes, hold on a second," grabs your fingers and goes, "It's more like this." It's like, ew, you're dirty. We're doing dirty hand signals if you're listening to the podcast. Go to YouTube. Go to fucking YouTube and just actually see what we're doing.
Google
Court of
shocker.
Owls. It's kind of the, and then there's fuck, what is it? There's the Incredible Hulk, which is two fists
Whoa.
or a fist in each. And then there's, hold on, the minivan. I
I
think it
call
is.
Rumble.
Or it goes like this. It's the minivan, or maybe it's like this.
Wow.
It's a whole conversation we can have later and hit up different websites. A Court of Owls.
Speaking of which, have you read Sex Criminals?
Never even heard of it. What the fuck is that?
God, oh God.
Dude, I've been in a comic shop. This is like kind of a comic book geek based thing, and I'm bad. I go to I don't really read that much.
Well, I've
anymore.
told you about the selection at the Forest Park Public Library.
Yeah,
The lady that curates it, she's awesome. They have tons of, and it's cool because it's more the independent stuff. They have the requisite
Good.
Marvel and DC, but they've got independents, a lot of Image books. They have all of Preacher, all of Why the Last Man. They don't have Transmet. I still haven't read Transmet.
what?
I tried to request it through the interlibrary system. No one fucking has it. It's getting on my nerves. And it's like out of print or something. The comic shop doesn't have it. It's fucking fucked up, dude. Anyway,
I told you I have a Transmet page.
you have. You showed it to me.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what it is, and I drooled over it.
Where in the fuck? Hold on. I just want to. This is great because I got the wire and
Go ahead,
everything,
show
and
it
I,
off.
I'm probably fucking getting. Oh, shit! Let me up. Like bringing the girl. I'm trying to move shit around. All of a sudden the cable just goes fling, and I'm like, "Fuck! Where is that plug?" It's it's the extension, so we can keep
Now I'm
talking.
experiencing this as a podcast listener.
As,
because
yeah,
I can't
as you're sitting
see
there
you.
going, "Wait a
And
minute!"
I just hear the
Anybody
chaos
who's
and
on here right now is probably going,
At Casa de Lanius.
Casa Dylan. I was also want to do is like show off my fucking Preacher page.
Stately Ken
That was
Manor.
it. I hope so. I don't know.
What Preacher page do you have?
Not Preacher.
Transmet.
Transmet. Here it is. Wait a minute. Hold on. Yeah, I'm
Got
gonna
that-
use you for fucking cable control.
You got that sweet ass page from Astro City.
Of here it is. It's that one right there. He's talking to the Smiler. and
Okay, well,
this-
don't tell me. Don't tell me. I haven't read it.
but remember this page. Remember that one where
Yes.
what's his face looks at it and goes himself. So
Mhm.
that's you'll understand when you get to it. And then there's there's Strangers in Paradise, and there's I don't know, there's some other shit. Oh
the
yeah,
Astro
that's
City one.
the Confessor.
I've only read the first couple, but the Confessor story is fucking awesome.
That's the one where he basically figures out, oh wait, you're a vampire.
Uh-huh.
That's more of a video cast than anything. Who cares? Podcasters will listen to it. Podcasters will be like, fuck, I need to fucking go to their website or I need to go to their.
Well, anyone listening to a podcast,
Right.
Ken owns really cool pages from Transmet, Astro City, and Strangers in Paradise.
Yeah.
He's got a sweet Jack Nicholson
What'd
t-shirt.
you say? Yeah. No, I'm good. I think I'm okay. I got the girl out here helping me. I have behind the scenes production people. Okay, I have one. Preacher.
I have
Oh
a radio
wait,
control.
Snyder, Scott Snyder, writing Batman.
Yeah.
He gets inside of his head. How? What?
Well, the first storyline is the Court of Owls.
Mhm.
And the Court of Owls, and now the thing about Batman is Gotham is his city. He knows every inch of it. He knows the informants, he knows the criminals, he knows the players, big and small. The Court of Owls has been an urban myth in Gotham. There's a eerie little rhyme about them that the children sing.
What is it?
And beware the Court of Owls.
They will infest your bowels.
No, 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 no.
The only thing they
Who
use are owls.
watch you from on high. Their gates of granite and lime. They watch you at your how. They watch you at your hearth. What the part I really remember. They watch you at your hearth. They watch you in your bed. Speak not a whispered word about them, or they'll send the talon for your head.
There you go.
Eerie little rhyme. So young Bruce Wayne. Anyway, so this is I won't get too far into it, but
Okay.
because I'll start to ramble and then we'll mention Preacher for 5 minutes at the end. But so basically, it turns out this urban myth about Gotham has been. It turns out it's not a myth. It's true. There is a court of owls of the super rich elite that control the city. They have controlled the city for hundreds of years, and Batman knows absolutely nothing about them.
What the fuck? It was like super elite and shit like that. He's part of that.
No, well, there's stuff with the Waynes. Did Joe Chill kill his parents? Was he ordered by the Court of Owls?
JFK conspiracy.
Were they resistant? Speaking of JFK conspiracy, I'll look up the title, but I won't get too far. But there's a documentary on Netflix. It is fucking freaky.
What's it called?
See, I knew you were going to ask that. I told you I'm going to look it up on Netflix. But
I don't have Netflix anymore.
it's what this. Okay, okay, hang on. I'll get to that in a second.
All right. Yeah, yeah. I'll write that down here. JFK.
So, Court of Owls, and it turns out it's true. And the thing with the Waynes and the Wayne family built Gotham. They've been rich forever. There are Wayne buildings all around Gotham. So Batman starts to find these little hideouts for the Talons, who are the enforcers of the Court of Owls.
Okay.
They're basically each like a Batman unto themselves. And he's finding these roosts of theirs. He's finding them in Wayne buildings.
Oh,
Like you know how
fuck.
there's no 13th floor in a lot of sky rises.
A lot
But
of
they
them.
a lot of them, but there's usually, in order to allay the suspicion, there's like that empty space between 12 and 14. It turns out in that space, in Wayne buildings, and Bruce Wayne knew nothing about it, there are talent hideouts. And this fucks with his head. He's like, what the fuck is going on? And the story goes from there.
Hold on a second. I was handed a note. What were you trying to say? Just say it. It says builders. Build. Right. The Bilderberg Group. Build a bird. What's Bilderberg? It's apparently there's a conspiracy theory that I've just been told about called the Bilderberg theory group.
Bilderberg?
I guess she does.
Nope.
He doesn't know either. So that's she fucking watches all these things, and I come home and I'm like,
I
are
like
you
her,
watching
by the
stuff
way.
about how to kill somebody and then get away with it? Should I be worried right now?
I like her, by the way.
She's a good time. But so the 13th floor, believe it or not, the Orleans, it's a casino in Vegas. I swear to God, it has a 13th floor in
awesome.
Vegas of all places.
I want to gamble on the 13th floor of a building in Vegas. That's what I want to do.
Yeah, I really lost a lot. You just froze up again, but that's okay.
Okay.
I'm
Am
not
I
gonna
back?
have you fucking. Well, no, you're like locked. Like your picture
Well, that's not
is
cool.
locked.
But anyway, so then the JFK video, this guy, because it postulates that Oswald worked alone, and yet JFK was shot by a different rifle because the entry Oswald used a 6.5 millimeter Mannlicher Carcano rifle. Fires a 6.5 millimeter round. The entry wound in the back of JFK's skull is described as being 6 millimeters. Now, a 6.5 millimeter round cannot fit through a hole that is 6 millimeters in diameter. And you have the third shot that takes out the front of JFK's head. You know, that bullet, the two bullets from Oswald's rifle, they're still bullets. There's the one that they refer to as the magic bullet, and it's
That
still,
showed up and there was nothing wrong with it.
yeah.
And yeah.
There's tons of stuff wrong with it. That's a bit of a misstatement, but it's still recognizable. So why did the first two bullets remain in, or at least this one? So this one comes out and it's perfectly fine. The other one shatters and is like a hollow point. It's like a frangible round that blows JFK's head. Pardon me. And so the thing is, it didn't. There are pictures of a Secret Service agent in one of the trail cars with an AR-15, 5.56 millimeter.
I don't think they had AR-15s back then.
They did,
Really?
or I don't know, whatever it is. It's the M16 base. It may not be exactly an AR-15. I'm not exactly that guy, but there are photos. It's recognizable. You'll recognize the hardware. So this guy's theory is that agent got the assault rifle to be ready to return fire. The vehicles increased in speed because they were getting shot at.
Yeah.
He loses his balance, jerks, fires around,
Oh, I've heard that.
and now
And accidentally squeezes off around
it
and
accidentally hits JFK in the head, which is awful. It's an awful, awful theory, but this guy makes a lot of sense when he presents it. And it's not ironclad, because he uses the exit wound to try to determine the angle of the entry, but this thing exploded, so it's hard to tell exactly where the center of that is. But it makes a lot of sense. It also explains why the government came down so hard on anyone saying anyone but Oswald was involved, and yet it is not actually a government.
They knew one of their guys accidentally
It's
squeezed
just
off
like,
around.
yeah, we can't have that out there.
Yeah.
So it's fucking fascinating and heartbreaking in that way to watch.
But it's
Okay.
there was a documentary I watched one time about a guy who my brother's driven through Daily Plaza, and he said he has a video of it somewhere, and he's like, you'd have to be a fucking idiot to miss this shot. He drove right where JFK was and had his camera out facing up to the depository.
Yeah, I
repository,
remember he
whatever it is.
posted pictures from the depository on Facebook, and he's like, it doesn't look like that hard a shot.
Because this is nothing. And then there was on Discovery Channel years ago, I watched a thing where they put a guy up in the air on a fucking cherry picker, and they're like, "You're this far away. Here's the angle." They had ballistic shell around a skeleton, and this guy not only managed to squeeze off the shots, but he hit, generally speaking, pretty accurately where the bullets went in. And there was one that like busted off his clavicle, ricocheted, went through the front. It was
Yeah, they recreated that very accurately. So, yeah, it's weird. Don't get me wrong. JFK is still a brilliant fucking flick, but
and I don't think I've ever seen it. In fact, I know I have never seen it.
shut the fuck up. You've never seen JFK.
There's a lot of movies that people are like, "How have you not seen this?" And I'm like,
Can you lean a little closer to camera, please? Can you just lean a little.
"Ah, son of a bitch." Your cameras. Speaking of cameras, yours is all fucked up again. Turn it off. Turn it back on. Let's do it. Let's do the preacher.
Yeah, we're doing pretty.
This sucks. I don't know what's going on with all of this. This is how my entire weekend's been. There's a standard, you have to install an operating system on a computer. All right, no problem. Done it 1,000 times. If there was a goofy fucking issue you could think of, it happened not only with my laptop, but with my desktop. It's been pure hell. Everything got, it was
sucks.
just, yeah, it was, this whole fucking weekend was just shit. But I got to meet Jimmy Martin from the Geek Show podcast. So
That's cool. I'm gonna listen to one of those any day now.
well, the new one came out Sunday. I haven't listened to it yet, and I told him, I was like, hey, if you kind of drop the name, you drop the name. You know what I mean? So we'll see.
Okay, so Preacher.
Yeah.
The absolute first thing. Well, I mean, just right off the bat, the monkey
The
in
opening
room-
scene, we started talking about it actually with the
Yeah, with the
It
kind
looked
of
like
cheesy outer space thing.
1950s looking thing. I was like,
But
is
if I
this the
could, if I
show?
could back up for a second before
Ooh.
the show premieres, before anything, when I heard about the casting, I no, no, Dominic Cooper is not Jesse Custer.
I'll
he's
agree. They
just
should have gotten somebody else.
not. Just because, okay, Jesse Custer, he's long and lean and lanky
He's a
and
Steve Dillon drawing.
exactly. And I mean, you and I are men of average height, okay?
Yeah, I'm like
And
5'10". You're like, I don't know. You're what,
5'10".
8.5? Are you 8.5 feet tall? 9? You're a giant among men. All right, so we're the same height. Yeah,
We're both right around 5'10".
yeah.
And I swear to God, Dominic Cooper is probably right about here
You've met
on
him.
us. No, but I've looked up his stats and I've seen him next to Robert Downey Jr. Um, Both of us have a few inches on Robert Downey Jr. And Jeremy Renner. Both of those guys are like 5'7",
You
which
gotta
is
watch. You gotta watch those little guys. I'm telling you.
well. And what's absolutely hysterical about Robert Downey Jr. is that I love. Did you see the Oscars when the Avengers presented an award?
I
And
didn't.
anyway, in the banter, they have uh, Chris Evans is like, yeah, not unlike people get up on their soapbox, not unlike the tomato crates that we usually have Robert standing on to make it look like he's as tall as the rest of us, which was funny.
They have to do that with Tom Cruise also.
Yeah, Tom Cruise.
Hey, which one?
Hey,
Who do we have there?
one of the monkeys. This is Jaina.
Tina.
Say hi.
Hi.
She's adorable.
She's great.
But what's absolutely hysterical in the Marvel movies is whenever there's a long shot of Robert Downey Jr., like where you see his whole body, look at his feet. I swear he's wearing frickin' moon boots. The guy's like got lifts like crazy. Also, watch the Avengers. Watch the Avengers in the final scene when he and Pepper are looking over the plans of the new Avengers Tower, because there's construction going on. She is barefoot. The scenes that she is in with Robert Downey Jr. in that film, she is barefoot in both of them because she's casual and relaxing, and he's in his freaking moon boots just to make it look like they're the same height. Okay.
Did you see they recently showed Chris Evans and Robert and what's her face there showed up? It's some kid in California. He's got like cancer.
Yeah,
And they just
yeah,
knocked out. Dude, how awesome is that?
that is awesome.
How awesome is the fact that we live in a world now where all the stuff that you and I were into, and we were like, we're never going to see a good comic book movie. They do these stupid TV shows, and they're always cheesy. No, Thor shows up in the Incredible Hulk. Daredevil. Oh, Fisk. I'm blind. You remember that one?
Yep.
And now all of a sudden, here we are, 20, 30 years later, and this stuff is not only mainstream, it's got the production value, it's making money, everybody's into it. It's
If it wouldn't be so offensive, because there was the campaign in the last couple of years for LGBT teens, because there was a very high suicide rate, and telling them it gets better, it gets better, and
Yeah.
it's a beautiful campaign, and I love it. But seriously, I wish I could go back in time 20, 25 years to tell myself, dude, it gets better. That horrible, horrible Captain America movie you saw, don't worry, they're gonna get it right. You just have to be patient, and you're gonna object to the casting at first, but trust me, you're wrong. You are dead flat wrong, and you're gonna be glad how wrong you are. But one thing I don't think I'm wrong about is the casting of Jesse Custer. Jesse Custer, he should be, and it really comes into play the most later in the episode when Jesse's in the bar fight, because Jesse's a brawler, and in the
But how about that when a kid comes up to him and is like, my dad hurts my mama, and then he fucking describes exactly what it is. He's like, this thing can spiral out of control, and I can't even let myself start.
and they played that in the trailer and it's, don't get me wrong, that's a great monologue, and Dominic Cooper, for a British guy, has the accent way better than I thought it.
Does AMC understand that there are actors that are American actors, and they could possibly hire someone? Instead, they're outsourcing.
I'm sick of these foreigners taking our jobs.
Between the foreigners and the machines.
But hey, I would not take anyone else as Rick Grimes, so I will gleefully
I
accept
gotta tell
him.
you what, dude kicks the ass on the Rick Grimes.
Right?
Nails it.
I mean,
Yeah,
he
nails
just
it.
is.
The
Um,
Walking Dead, God, that's
but
another thing we can totally go off on a tangent about, but we'll focus,
yeah,
preacher.
that's for another time. So Dominic Cooper, I mean, I'm watching that monologue, and you're tight on his face, and I'm like, maybe, but then I see him and I'm just like, God, dude, no, he's wee. I don't care how good a fucking actor he is, he's wee. And in the bar fight where he's fighting four guys that are twice his size, it took me completely out of it. I mean,
Really?
I know that they think they made a really cool scene to show where he's, there's the freeze frame on the smile because he's feeling alive again.
And they do
It,
that thing where like they skip every other frame, so it has that weird kind of like shutter effect to it.
oh God, yeah. But it just, I never believed it for a second. It looked choreographed. It looked choreographed. And the best choreography, it doesn't look choreographed. Like the Matrix films, Yen Wu Ping's team, all that, fucking brilliant. But in this, I'm like, okay, this is not Jesse Custer. This is a wee man pretending to be Jesse Custer, and those four big men are letting him.
The casting of him does bother me. Obviously not as much as you. I was able to buy it. In other words, I was able to kind of get past that and go, it's a TV
Okay.
show, whatever. Tulip, the first time we see her, that scene, oh my god, with the car's out of control, going through the frigging cornfield. They do that upshot, and you can just see how it's tearing through everything. She's beating the shit out of these guys. She bites the one guy's ear off. I'm like, this is Tulip. This is fucking great. And then it stops, and then she ends up with those kids, and I was like, okay, she's got the wig on, cool, because the first time we were introduced to Tulip, she had the black wig on. But then as things continue, I'm going, no, no, they kept that wig on. And then you mentioned, and I did look up and confirm, half Ethiopian, half Irish. And then the girl is sitting there looking at pictures of Tulip, and she goes, she almost looks kind of Asian. I'm like, yeah,
And
it's supposed to be a blonde with bobbed hair, and
and getting into her backstory. See, it's not, and this is not a racial thing. I didn't care that the Human Torch was black. I don't care that Perry White was black. I
you're
care that
fucking
they
Mexican
included
for fuck's sake, and we talk.
exactly. And I don't. You want to play with some of these things. In most cases, I'm fine with it.
Nick Fury,
Nick Fury, fucking awesome. I
done.
mean, see, that's the thing. As long as it's good, I'm fine with it. But one, I'm not a fan of this actress. I didn't like her on Agent. Well, I didn't like Agents of Shield, but I didn't like her on that as well. So right out the gate, two of our three leads, I flat out don't like. I hate it.
Wow.
You missed on your casting of Jesse Custer, and what I hate the most is I have the perfect casting of Jesse Custer and Cassidy. The only problem is it's 15 years ago.
Whoa, Cat. We haven't gotten to Cassidy yet. I imagine you have your list, but let's discuss Cassidy. Opening scene, I wasn't sure it was even him. I just the hair and stuff. Cassidy back when they do the flashback stories of him in the 20s when he first fucking vampires out. Okay, that guy looked like him then, but as it progressed, and the cool thing is, so the shit happens on the plane. He grabs the Bible. There's all that writing, and I'm like, I didn't know it was him at first. I missed the name tag that said Cassidy, and he's looking at this Bible, and I'm like,
When your
what?
character needs a name tag, it's possible you've gotten things wrong.
And he's got the Bible, and there's nothing in it that
Hello,
really.
my name is Jesse.
Hello, I am Bob. But I'm looking at the Bible, and I'm like, there should have been like I don't remember how it happened in the comic, but by all means, there should have been like a contract that, and he should have focused on words like Cassidy, vampire, bounty, $1 million. Boom, 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 boom. Kind
Were
of an
there
evil.
vampire hunters in the comic?
If I remember right, yeah, that's how he got that opening scene. If I recall, it happened. Maybe not verbatim, but definitely a derivative of that. That's 'cause I remember him jumping out of a plane or some shit. It was vaguely familiar. I think I sold all
It's
my trades. I really think I sold all the trades.
it's not at the beginning of the series because I just reread volumes 1 through 3.
Okay, so in the very
Because Cassidy
beginning,
gets introduced when he picks up Tulip, when she botches her assassination attempt.
okay, now because I remember he's in the back of the pickup truck underneath the tarp,
Uh huh.
and that's how I thought we kind of sort of got introduced to him, or kind of
Yeah.
like why is this guy there? And he's like lifting the thing up, like, yeah, I'm going to be back here, and you don't know why. Because we didn't know he was a vampire, if I recall.
No, no, not at first.
It took several issues before it was like, it was issue 3, I think,
It
where
was the
they're
it
in a
was the end
fucking,
of issue. They're in the brawl.
they're fucking fighting, and he rips the guy's throat out.
He
He
rips
looks
the guy's
over at
throat out,
Jesse and
and the end
goes,
splash page is what?
what, you didn't know I was a vampire? Like, he's sitting there with the fucking chunks and his blood everywhere, and he's like, you didn't know I was a vampire? It took 3 issues for that to fucking come out. That's fucking right. That was awesome. Okay, there we go. We've pieced that together. I'm now hating the TV show just a little bit more. They should have kept those cards close to their fucking chest. They shouldn't have fucking shown us that. We're going to show you if there's a vampire in here right off the bat. No. Make
And yet
that a
have him walking around in
surprise.
the daytime all the time.
And he's sitting next to the church and he has his hand out and it like burns a little bit. You know, he's got it. He's sitting there. He's all
Watching
like,
it, and I'm thinking, Jesus, this is not the story you're meant to be telling, lad. There's not supposed to be fucking vampire hunters coming around. That's not this early in the series. What the fuck are you doing, mate?
But
Anyway,
I will say, if you go to a website called, I think it's onepercase.com, it's a toy collecting website. There's a gentleman, Joe Diaz, which is Deas, Joe Diaz. I seriously thought he got cast as Cassidy. I mean, by the end of the fucking first episode, I wanted to pause it, take a screenshot, send it to him, and go, "Hey, motherfucker, why didn't you tell us? You had a little bit of a side gig going on."
yeah.
So anyway, other than the casting, Cassidy, I eventually warmed up to once he started looking like, he looked like Cassidy. I
I
thought,
guess. I guess.
oh man, you hate this thing.
And it's funny because you and Joe have been fans of Preacher like since it was out.
Are we talking your like Joe Chicago
Your
Prince
your
Joe?
Joe, your
My
Joe,
Joe, okay.
onepercase.com.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's funny because the guys who have been waiting, at least the 2 guys I know, who have been waiting for Preacher like for years, are more forgiving. Are because you've been possibly because you've been wanting it for a while. You've been wanting
Pretty much. It's like, as long as I get laid, I
me
don't care.
and me and my buddy Josh, who have very recently read Preacher, because I read through it probably for the first time 18 months ago when I finally finished.
Did the last issue make you cry? And I'll just spill it out there. We're talking about Preacher, so if you don't want to know anything about Preacher, you shouldn't have clicked on the fucking podcast. When they're
Exactly.
sitting there riding off into the sunset, and Cassie's human, and he looks at the picture of the good times, and he's remembering. I fucking cried like a fucking little girl. I probably cried harder than one of your daughters there.
I did not actually spring forth with the waterworks, but it was emotional for me.
Okay.
But mostly for me it was Jesse and Tulip. For me it was because they made a point in the series he hadn't cried since his daddy got his head blowed off right in front of him,
Yeah.
and now here he is just fucking laying his soul bare, and I'm like, that is fucking beautiful. This man's man crying for the woman he loves and all that. That's fucking
And the hell they went through together. They
Yeah.
were together. They split up. He comes back to Annaville or whatever it's called, Texas, for unknown reasons. I forget, why did he come back? And he was living a life of crime with Tulip, and then leaves her and goes back because of grandma and the cousins.
because Jody and is it TC?
Jody, yeah,
the chicken
fucking
fucker.
the guy. It opens up first page, sitting there fucking a fish.
Yeah.
TC maybe.
So anyway, Jesse and Tulip were together, and she goes to get him something because they were talking about going to San Francisco or something. And after she leaves, he's sitting there and he's smiling. He's like, "Because that's where I'm going to ask you to marry me." And it's tight on him. And then it goes out, and it's Jody and TC sitting next to him. And Jody's just like, "You took some finding, boy."
Oh, that's right. They grabbed him.
And well, they didn't grab him. They said, "You come with us. Don't make a fuss, or I'll put a bullet right through that little girl's brain. Don't think I won't." And Jesse's like, "Okay, let's go."
So Tulip thought Jesse ran out on her.
Right. But then when they're being held by Grandma is when he tells her this whole story, and she's like, "Christ, Jesse, I've been mad at you for no reason at all, because, I didn't know what was going on." And
Yeah. It's always misunderstanding, miscommunication. Does it every
Yeah.
time.
every time.
Listen, if you gotta get going, we can continue this later on. It's been a while.
No, I'm
It's
good.
been-
I'm good. I got
Okay.
a good 15 minutes here.
All right.
I can get back to my children. wee bit, but we can talk
Just
about the
did they chew through the ropes? You're using ropes now, right? Because I told you the handcuffs was just that was too cruel.
duct tape.
Oh,
Duct tape.
good man. Right on. You got like if you
You
give them
can get
colored,
you can get out of duct tape, but it's going to take some skin, and you've got to be ready, willing to make that
if you
sacrifice.
tear it and twist, you're good. And give them the pink duct. They make duct tape in all sorts of
Actually,
colors.
if your hands are duct taped in front of you,
Just
you you do this, and then just bring your hands real fast. I read some survival
I
magazine, and
watched the video on it.
they had pictures afterward, and it took some skin. The guy was bleeding. He's like, "It'll hurt, but you'll get out." Same thing with a zip tie. Pull it as tight as you can, and then just pull your arms back past your rib cage. It'll break.
Fuck,
It
I
might
might try
hurt,
that. I might
but
try
it
that. Throw it on the site. Who knows?
so you try it.
I have nothing else to
I
do. Um,
I have these small, dainty little hands. So,
so believe me. So the
and
opening scene,
so
everything. Oh, here's one thing I noticed in it that I wanted to bring up is when Jesse wakes up. We first see him. There's bottles of booze sitting there, empty ones. One of the
yeah,
bottles of booze. Hold on. One of the bottles of booze is a black silhouette of a cowboy, and it looks exactly like it's fuck you. That's a fucking Saint of Killers. That's a black.
yeah.
It's a Saint of Kill. Yeah, it was a fanboy money shot, whatever. But I'm watching it again because I started watching it a second time and got about halfway through. Um, but I looked at it. I was like, hold on, that's an outline of the Saint of Killers.
I totally missed it. My buddy Josh told me about that though.
Oh, he caught it. Okay.
It's funny because he and I. My point earlier about you guys have been waiting for a while, so you're a little more forgiving. Josh and I both read it very recently, so it's still very fresh and very much new to us. And so the two of us have just rejected it out of hand. Just nope, that's not Tulip. Nope, that's not Jesse. Nope, nope, nope. We are very not forgiving of this at
Opening
all.
scene where it says Africa, I was like,
I'm like, what
this
the
is fucking
shit?
cheesy. But then
Oh,
I started
Jesus.
thinking about it, and I was like, okay, I can kind of incorporate that. Um,
For the record, I'm not likely to be tired of saying Jesus anytime soon. I fucking love Cassidy.
what pissed me off the minute I was buying it. I was actually buying the whole thing. I was a little bit turned off in the beginning, but then I was
Okay.
like, okay, I'm in it. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. And then fucking Genesis walks up to Jesse. And I was like, that didn't happen that way. What are you doing? If you notice, they've established this shot. The first time we see Genesis hit the guy, the guy explodes instead of everything exploding. He explodes. Okay, fine, I'll buy that. So we have to assume it happened again. In fact, it did. We saw Tom Cruise blow up. They talked about it in Russia.
That was awesome.
That was fucking great. But Genesis just flies right into someone. Then when it comes to Jesse's turn, all of a sudden it's different, and it's like, fuck you, man. You've established what this thing does. You've set the rules. And then all of a sudden you fucking break him for this guy. And then it was, remember, everybody showed up at the fucking at church one day because he got drunk and I think there was a fight. Something happened the night before,
He
Saturday
got
night.
drunk and he was telling everybody what he really thought of him, and he got the crap kicked out of him in a bar. And he said, "Usually I've got 20 people, maybe, in church." And the day after that, everyone had heard about the
The
preacher going
town,
nuts,
the
so the whole
town
town
shows
showed
up.
up.
And that's what I was waiting for. The bar fight scene's happening, and I'm like, fucking A, this is it. This is the setup. This is the Saturday night. Okay, cool. Genesis is going to be making its appearance. And it does, but when he goes to repent and ask forgiveness and shit, and then when he uses the word, his eyes don't glow red, and unfortunately he didn't tell the sheriff to go fuck himself, and he does.
No, he told the guy to bare his heart.
Or,
So the guy carves his living heart out in front of his mouth. What the fuck,
and
man?
ass face, man, they fucked. I think they fucked up ass face. Ass face should have looked like Smog from episode Star Wars 7 from Force Awakens.
Yeah,
Smog.
Arseface is not. They did do a good job of. You could understand him a little too well.
Yeah,
I do like that it was subtitled.
that was
Because, oh
great.
God,
Thank
well,
God.
my favorite part in the comic is because Arseface is subtitled, but they do have his word balloons of what he's saying. The fucked up thing is, after a while, you
You start to
almost don't
understand
need
it.
them.
Yeah.
You can kind of read what he's saying, and I'm like, oh my God. But yeah, so Arseface is a disappointment, and of course we're 20 years removed from Kurt Cobain, so that story doesn't work anymore. And here's the thing. Wait, I can't hear you at all.
Sorry, button got hit. As I'm sitting there, sitting up, like fucking, it doesn't reference anymore.
Yeah, and okay, and here's one of my things going into this because it's Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, two guys
Now,
whom
who's
I
Evan
like.
Goldberg? Obviously, I know Seth.
Seth Rogen's writing partner. I
Oh,
don't think he's been on camera. They've worked together a lot. I think he writes together. Goldberg may direct. I don't know. We would have to consult the Oracle, but so they read Preacher and they loved it and they've been trying to do it. But so whenever you're in a okay, whenever you're in a situation like this and you've got these guys to read Preacher and they love it and they're in the business and they write and direct, it almost seems to a degree in some cases, and in this case, very possibly, that there's almost a level of usurpment going on, like almost hijacking. Like, these guys read Preacher, oh, this is awesome. We've got to bring this to the big screen. So we're going to adapt it and we're going to make Preacher. And now we're writing Preacher, except we're throwing in a lot of our shitty ideas on top of what was there. And so is it almost like where they're trying to
you
kind of
don't do
glom
that.
onto it? What?
Yeah, you don't do that. They're like, oh, we're gonna bring it to TV, but we're gonna put our little angle on it, and
Yeah. So to them it's almost like now we're writing Preacher. Now we're awesome. And no, you're not. You're
you know what? And this is. I'm glad everything's turning into comic books. I would say Sin City's the closest I've seen to this as of yet. Watchmen got close to it. We're gonna fucking we still there's someday there's gonna be a fucking huge fucking Watchmen fucking SmackDown's gonna happen. Um, a comic book. Okay, it's sequential story art. It is. In fact, Ramos, I think, the guy who did Battle Chasers,
okay.
I think that was the artist. I can't off the top of my head remember. I thought it was Umberto Ramos. If I recall, he kind of quit doing Battle Chasers because he started doing something else now. And that something else is storyboarding. Because a comic book is a motherfucking storyboard. Why don't people, frame for frame, shot for shot, line for line, everything, get the comic book? It's like it's filmed the fuck for you, morons.
That's
And
one
just boom,
thing
boom, boom, done.
that's one thing about Watchmen. Just real brief, because I'm part of the group that says you shouldn't have tried to make Watchmen into a movie. One, you can't fit that story into even a 3 hour movie. Two, it's already a movie. It more
Yes.
so it is more cinematic than almost any other comic book. There are dissolves, there are panouts, it is so visually expressive.
All the shit George Lucas used in Star Wars.
Yeah.
The way he
And
did the swipes and stuff.
it's there on the page. And
And it is a comic book, not a graphic novel, like they say at the beginning of Preacher, adapted from the graphic novel by, and I fucking wanted to punch the fucking screen.
you know, I I've become more forgiving of that term myself just because hang on, easy down boy. Just because comic itself is a bit of a misnomer. Now don't get me wrong, that scene in American Sniper where the guy's got an issue and he's like, "No, this is a graphic novel." No, that's a comic book. I'm sorry. No. Now
That's another
because
movie we could find. I just, oh,
yeah, but
anyway,
aim small, miss small. Shut up.
fucking
And
Eastwood.
and so now if you're leafing through a trade paperback and you refer to it as a graphic novel,
That's fine.
I don't have a huge problem with that.
They're interchangeable.
If you've got an issue of a comic book and you're trying to say that's a graphic novel, well, no, then you're like one of those people who calls yourself a trekker because it's like more socially acceptable. No, fuck you. I'm a fucking Trekkie, man. I fucking love that shit, and I don't care what you have to say about it.
But even when you call yourself a Trekker, I think you make yourself more of a nerd than being a Trekkie. Well, and as I can always tell, the pretentious little fucktards, especially the
Yeah.
ones in the anime, are big into going, well, actually. But it's getting late. Listen, you got the girls over there jumping around and
Yeah.
stuff. So we'll end it.
Wait, hang on, hang
What?
on.
Hey, okay.
I thought I might have one more thing.
Oh, I've got a bunch more stuff.
Yeah.
My mind. The more we talk, the more it just fucking starts snowballing into just pure hell.
You have another? Do you have another preacher thing? Give me another preacher thing. It might trigger what I was talking about.
Mm, fuck. Now, you see, you put me on the spot and I freeze up. Then it's like it's stage fright. I'm standing there. God, I gotta pee. God, I gotta pee. You whip it out, and it's like Can you close your eyes or leave the room or something, and then maybe it'll happen?
Do not blow.
No,
Wait,
Preacher overall, I last 10 minutes fucking fucked me up. The he when he used the
that's the
word,
thing.
the eyes didn't turn red.
The eyes didn't turn red, and at the beginning of it, because when Genesis hits, it blows up the entire congregation, and
Yeah,
he sets out and he's walking the earth, who got to find God and all that. But no, in this, he says, "No, I'm going to be a good preacher to you people, and I'm here to save you." And
that
that's
was
when I
so good.
remember,
Yes.
wait a minute, this is AMC. This is the show that in season 2 of The Walking Dead didn't want to spend any money, and so we were stuck on Herschel's farm for an entire fucking season. They're going to keep this in that pissant Texas town because they don't have the budget to travel. They're going to try to bring everything to Jesse. It's an AMC budgetary thing, and it sucks. Oh, and the fucking flashback to his daddy in a preacher's collar. Fuck you. No, you just whipped out my graphic novel and pissed all over
I
it.
don't remember what the whole deal was with his dad. I know the cousins killed him, right?
Yes, because
Because of his mom.
his mom had escaped from grandma's house, and she met Jesse's dad, and they were living together blissfully. And then
His dad got the
Jody,
greatest fucking Zippo lighter of all time that said "fuck communism," and it was.
I need one of those. I don't even smoke, but uh,
So
but
they
then
ran off, and then
and Jody and TC found them, and she's trying to say, Jack, don't do anything, because he's like, they're trash with guns. That's all they are. And he starts to kick the ever loving snot out of Jody, but then TC's behind him and got 2 guns on him, and so he has to surrender. And they get taken back to grandma's house, and they get married all proper, and they're basically held hostage there. And when they tried to escape, they got caught, and they put Jesse's dad on his knees, and
pop.
that was all she wrote. But in this, he's got a Jesse's dad is on his knees, but he's got a preacher's collar, so they're gonna keep him a preacher, and that's the thing. Oh, well, because
And
it's called preacher, so
hey,
he.
there's all preacher stuff, and they're gonna keep it there. It's like fucking green screen this shit. Fucking you don't even need location anymore. You just fake it all. Well, to make it look good, you're really gonna have to. You fucking build a fake wall. You set an
Yeah.
establishing shot of like a city or whatever. You keep all your shots relatively tight, not as tight as they did in the movie Big Red One. It's a perfect example of a movie where war's supposed to be happening, but we're gonna focus like this on Lee Marvin the whole time, so you can't really see what the
Can't go
fuck's going
wrong with
on.
that.
Or American Sniper was another one I have
I bet
major
you're a
issues with. I thought that
big Lee
movie,
Marvin fan.
fucking Lee Marvin was awesome. And then at the end, they all kind of they the way preacher ended. Yeah, the whole I'm going to go be a good preacher now. It's like, and they don't ride off in
That's
the pickup truck.
that's kind of the antithesis of what I read,
I mean, it fell
and
off.
it's conceivably a minor thing, but it bothers me
Where's it going to
because okay,
snowball?
preacher is, I mean, there's a lot going on. There are layers, and there are things that are, but
There's
it's not.
Grail.
There's a lot of different things going on. There are layers, but one thing you could never accuse preacher of being is subtle. It's everything's out there. The dildo is slapping you in the face when
Yeah,
you're preacher, but
you fucked everything in the zoo. That's why I'm giving you an armadillo because that's all that's left that you haven't fucked.
so it bugs that Jesse is all in black. His jeans might be a very dark blue denim. I'm not sure, and it's often that way on Fabry's covers. But in the book, Jesse has a black shirt and white jeans.
You're right.
He is dressed in black and white. That is how this character sees the world. This isn't deep. You don't have to plumb the depths of what the writer and artist were intending here.
And it's
It's right there.
and his motivation in the comic book was God is an asshole.
Yeah.
He's a prick, and because he's a preacher, so he's read the Bible a whole bunch, grew up around it, forced down his throat by grandma, and he's like, wait a minute, 1 minute you're torturing the fuck out of this guy, you're Job and all that shit, and then Abraham, and then all of a sudden you're a kind and giving God. Fuck you, you're not. You're being an asshole. You're pandering to the audience, whatever they want to hear. And
Yeah.
then, he was just like, what are you doing, preacher? He's like, I'm going to go find God. Because Genesis, the creation of a demon and an angel, has free will, unlike angels, which don't, or some fucking bullshit story they
So-
make up as they go along. Genesis gets inside of him, and whatever he tells people to do, they do.
And well, rereading it, I loved it because the angel and the demon, they're not meant to have Congress ever. And they did, and it created something new. It was a new idea. And that's what makes it a rival to the Lord Almighty. It
And
is
he
a
left
new
heaven.
idea.
God left heaven.
The second it was created, he
Yeah,
left.
he was gone.
And
So
I'm
it's fine,
almost
God.
okay. I'm certain because we ditched cable, so I'm sure as shit not paying to watch any more of this show. I might check out an episode or two on Cody, and I'll be maybe when it comes out on DVD, I'll get it from the library. I might force myself to watch through it just to see some more. But and Joe reported on Facebook, uh,
I haven't logged on in I don't know
your
how many
Joe, yeah,
days. Yeah.
but he reported that I think the enigmatic cowboy shows up in the second episode,
They're bringing in the
which
Saint Killers already
so it's yeah the Saint of Killers. So at
by
least
episode 2.
because when I checked IMDb, there was no one listed as the Saint of Killers. So I was like, well, fuck this. But apparently now they're just calling him something different. We'll see. But what will make or break this show for me is how they portray God. If they portray God, this
Fat black
show
has to
they
be a
might
fat black
not.
lesbian.
I don't care about that as long as they do the thing where God is appearing to the other characters saying, "Look, I am doing this very good thing for you because I am a kind and loving God. You need to tell Jesse to stop looking for me." God's afraid of him. God doesn't want that showdown. If that's not in there, fuck you, Rogan. Fuck you, Goldberg. You guys suck.
You know what though? I will say this on a closing note. One of the greatest line I fucking love it where they say promises are the currency of faith.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was fucking I don't know where in the fuck that came from, but I'm like, holy shit. Promises are the current. If you promise somebody to do something, that builds faith. That's it. I was like, that's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm buying that.
And
Did
so
you?
you've set up for them to say that God is breaking his promises, and so that's why I have to go find him. That is a good line. And the monologue that he gives, he's a big boy, he'll fight back, things will escalate. It's what these things do. They
Yeah,
escalate.
he's already
I mean,
laying it out.
it's good, but I mean he's he's this tall.
It shouldn't matter. It should be the character itself can be represented by anyone, and who is cast shouldn't matter. Can you embody the character? I think he's doing a good job. I'm really not. That does about the tulip thing kind of bugs me, but then again, I have a thing for the blondes. I was married. The girl I was almost married fucking was like a tulip twin, and then when they came out with Danger Girl. I remember she's like, look at this comic, and I'm like, holy shit! And she bought the action figure. She goes, it's a mini me, and I'm like, it looked exactly. I was like, fucking twins. This is great. And then whatever. But yeah, shit happens. Life goes on. And Cassidy, it's Joe Diaz.
Yeah.
It's Joe Diaz, flat out.
And so Cassidy has never gotten a fair shake from me. I'm not thrilled with it, but I mean, given everything else that was going on, that guy was never going to get a fair
And
shake. I am in no way objective about the casting of Cassidy.
he fucks over. He's got when he lets go of Jesse falling out of the airplane. Didn't Jesse say something to him like, "Tell Tulip I'll be back," and he doesn't say anything to Tulip. Like,
Yes.
basically, Cassidy knows something and hides it from Tulip so he can just bang the crap out of her all the time.
Yeah.
What a dick. I'll let you go. You got the girls there.
Yep.
Hello. Hello.
Got to get back to the real work.
All right, brother. Well, yeah, give me a holler. Whenever you're free, just shoot me a text and say I got 10 minutes of bullshit about something or whatever. I'll be here. That was episode 5. Episode 6 will get recorded when we get recorded. And let me find the stop button. There's a stop button. Okay.